laptop fired up. Resolutions of the 10th meeting of the town of Nipawin held in the council chambers of the town office on April 22nd, 2024 at 7 p.m. This meeting is being held on Treaty 6 territory and the homeland of the Métis. We extend our gratitude to those who came before us and have called this ancestral land home for generations. We respect and honor the treaties, reaffirm our relationships with one another, and move forward together in the spirit of truth, reconciliation, and collaboration. Call to order at 7 p.m. That the agenda for the April 22nd, 2024 meeting be approved as amended or presented and attached to form part of the said minutes. Councillor Chernetta. Anybody see anything on the agenda? Anything to add? All right, all those in favor? It's carried. Okay, do you have a declaration of conflict of interest? Anybody tonight? Okay. If you missed it and you see it come up, just make sure to let us know. That the minutes of the April 8th, 2024 regular meeting of council be approved as presented. Councillor Seiberling. Any issues with the minutes that anybody saw? All those in favor? It's carried. All right, moving on. That the RCMP report for the month of March 2024 be received and filed. Councillor Vic. Now we will head down to the far end of the room. Terry, how are you this evening?
So far so good.
Good to hear.
Good to see the snow gone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So this month here, it's not a whole lot different than previous. Good to see the assaults down. I can't say that had anything to do with us. It tends to just probably relate to more about who has cabin fever and who doesn't. But last month of March was pretty good as far as that goes, and some of these other numbers are pretty good too. The break and enter the thefts. It was good to see that's sort of staying stable. I think, and I love to point back a couple months to when we had our project here in town with bringing a bunch of units to do the runarounds and stuff. And I know that cleaned up quite a few people, but I think more than anything, it sort of puts a fear of God in a few people that, you know, that they're seeing their buddies get arrested and stuff like that. We're, of course, because we just used those units, we kind of get put to the end of the line now, waiting for them to come around again. I'm continually trying to bump us up in that list. You know, somebody can't use this unit for whatever reason for that month. I try to squeak them in here somewhere, and without warning too. So you never know when you'll see those guys flying around town here again. I've sort of got a standing offer on the table with a number of the guys on and gals on those units to work us in whenever they can. So I'm hoping for the summer to see them up here a couple, 3 times even. Maybe that's a little optimistic, but we're going to be really pushing for it. The mischiefs and vandalism, I'd say the vast majority, if not 90+% of that, is not cases where something's been vandalized, but cases where people phone the RCMP and ask for somebody to be removed from their house because they're drunk and all that kind of stuff. Those get scored to Statistics Canada as a mischief. Just the same as a vandalism. It's just our Stats Canada tracking of them. But I guess that's kind of good news. You know, it's not, we're not getting a whole bunch of people complaining that there's, you know, spray painting on their fence or something. It's more just interpersonal problems that the RCMP were called upon to sort of help settle. I am happy to see that the mental health calls have been kind of stabilized lately. And once again, I can't point a finger to anything. Of course, we've been doing that has more to do with the health system probably than us. But at least we haven't had to respond to a super high number in quite a while, and I see that as a win. I've done up our detachment action plan, which previously was called the annual performance plan for the detachment, taking into account all the priorities given from you folks and as well as the surrounding RMs and everything. So I have all that laid out. One of the things that the province has laid on to us as a good initiative, and it's open to you folks, is ride along program. We're focusing on 2 specific groups to come on out and work a shift with us at night or days would be pretty boring for the most part, but a night shift at the right time of month would certainly have some stories for you to tell your friends. And that's, you like to see leadership, people that are in leadership, and town councils are the ones that, and RM councils are the ones they told us really try to push this. You're welcome to come. And also, and I know I've pumped this out to you guys before about our recruiting initiatives, is to if you know somebody who think, hey, why don't you go and ride with them? You might actually enjoy it. Please have them contact me. I'd love to set them up. Give them 1 or 2 or 3 goes at it. Like, I don't want to limit at it. If it's something that they, want to come a couple times to see if it's for them, that'd be good. With recruiting, they tell me that they are receiving a lot of applications nationally. I take anything they tell me with a grain of salt, but I do believe there's some people there. One of the things they are doing though, right now, and this is temporary, it's not going to last forever, is that they're allowing recruits or cadets, I guess they're called, to choose their first posting. This has been proving disastrous for us as a force to try to fill places that are tougher to fill. But I personally believe it'll work to Nipawin's favor. The problem is a lot of these folks don't know Nipawin. And so what we've done in F Division is a lot of these northern postings have gone down, or they've flown some of these cadets up to posts up in the north to show them around and show them this is what it looks like. It's not flat pancake like around Regina. It's beautiful country and all that kind of stuff. And so far, the places up north that are really hard to fill have gotten the first kick at the cap to try to run this program. And I am pushing hard bring some folks here, especially, once the golf courses and everything gets set up and we can show them a good weekend in Nipawin and sort of show them like, hey, you can go to Lower Mainland and pay 1.5 for a house or come to Nipawin and have just about any house and be a part of a community that actually, wants you to be here and all that kind of stuff and raise a family and stuff and really try to sell. So I'm pushing that. And I think it's only going to go for a little while because some divisions are becoming full already. They cannot take any more people, and the provinces can't afford to fund any more additional recruits. Whereas Saskatchewan and Alberta have basically unlimited money for Mounties. Problem is we can't get the Mounties, and so I think we need to get people to Nipawin, get them to see, hey, this is a nice place. Love to raise a family here or move to a town like this. Come here and get your 5 years in the foot in the door type of thing. The other thing is, a friend of mine is in charge of Ontario Division. I used to work with him. He used to work in Porcupine Plain when I was posted to Hudson Bay. And he's now in charge of all of Ontario. And he is really getting tired of getting sent recruits straight from depot to these federal jobs at headquarters in Ottawa that these have no policing experience, and now they're doing federal work that's way above their heads, and it's a disaster. So his initiative, because he's a Saskatchewan farm boy at heart, is to tell them if you're coming to Ontario, and a lot of folks want to go back to Ontario because a lot of people get recruited from the center of the universe there, and he wants them to spend their first 3 years at a northern post in Saskatchewan. I think that's great. I think one thing it'll really get them some valuable experience as police officers, but at the same time it gives us a chance to sort of change their mind on the whole view of life of everybody has to live in Toronto type of thing. And I think once they see here that your paycheck goes a little further, same as if you're living in Vancouver or what have you, your paycheck goes a little further, and you a quality and a style of life that is, if you're at all inclined to having a family or being part of a community, you're way better off in a place like this. So we're really looking forward to putting our hand up to get the first group of people that are going to be signed on to this. It's still probably a number of months out, but it's being talked at the highest levels in the RCMP. So I'm seeing it as a possibility where we'll get some of our vacancies filled up. We are still running a couple short, and And really, that we've been told that there's just, in the near future, there's absolutely no chance of it getting filled. That being said, we are getting a new corporal. He's not a new corporal, he's already a corporal. Yeah, I believe he's from Losh currently. He'll be moving down here to replace Curtis Harbor, who's been transferred to Yukon. And so hopefully he'll be in place. I'm crossing my fingers by the beginning of July. That might be pushing it, but that's what we're going to hope for. And I'm going to be sticking around for the near future. Probably, I'm thinking probably close to July as well, as far as in the chair I'm sitting in right now, because I would like to play a part in who fills my chair. So I'm hopefully going to play a part in that, and I'm going to be here anyways. I'm working. They promised me a spot in Nipmuc to work out of. So that I hope is going to be a good thing just for the transitional process for when the new person comes, they can sort of pick up on the whole idea of crime reduction and being part of this community stuff. And if I've been whispering it in a few people's ears to consider that, and they're all Saskatchewan farm kids, and fairly local too, within a number of hours driving up here. So I think they would be a perfect fit. It's just a matter of convincing the right people. So that's what I've been working on, and hopefully that's where we're going with this. So I'm looking forward to seeing each one of you in a police car this year, maybe twice even.
In the front seat?
So that's good. And if you come on out, we just have a new challenge coin designed, and we just got for shipping them. So get a challenge coin if you come along or ride along. If that's a kind of thing that spins your bank, and also people collect them. And next time I'll try to remember to bring a sample of them. But I think that was all I had. Anyways, as always, I still want to push for possible recruits. I know I've gotten calls or even touched up on the sidewalk, whatever, from a couple of you saying, hey, you talked to so and so. I appreciate that. Keep pumping people my way. I want to see people from this area. One of the harder boys that's going through Devil right now from Nipmuc here, he's going to Buffalo Narrows. Tried hard to get him to come back to Nipmuc, but I think it's tough to sometimes come back to the place he grew up. I get that, but at least he stayed in Saskatchewan. But let's get some more local kids in there and follow them our way, and I appreciate it.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Do we have any questions or comments today?
We just wanted to ask if Constable Robert Curtis is gone. Has he left already?
No, he's still here.
Okay.
He's going to be here for probably a good 90 days before he goes. That's how it looks right now. So, yeah. That's tough shoes to fill.
Yeah. You're right.
Sheldon?
Where do we sign up for the ride along?
You coming first?
Sure.
Okay. Give me a call tomorrow.
Okay.
At the office, and I'm gonna hopefully have something set up then we can just plug you in. Is there nights of the week? Well, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay.
And we'll try to get you mid-month or end month, so.
Yeah, I'll probably go for a ride along too, but the other thing, do you have to be of age or do you take minors for the ride along?
You can't take minors.
They can't take that. I've known of a few minors and my kids, 16, 17-year-olds that are considering it, so.
Yeah. So as soon as they turn 18, I'd be the first one to take them up.
Okay.
That'd be fantastic. I know I did ride-alongs before I joined the force, and it certainly cemented in my mind that.
My father was an auxiliary for like 15 years, so yeah, before they canceled that program.
Yeah, I think I did that too for 6 years. That's yeah, it's a good program. Actually, they're bringing it back.
Bring it back to the auxiliaries?
Yeah.
Auxiliary. No more council, I'll be
Okay.
taking.
Yeah, Leo's coming second, you're coming third.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going on the spot.
Guys are gonna be excited.
Well, that was good.
You'll have lots of choices on who to bring along for a while.
Oh, yeah.
So good. Do we have any other questions or comments? I'm glad to see that things are stabilizing and we're seeing a reduction in some of this stuff, so we'll just keep moving in the right direction. Thank you guys for your hard work.
Thanks for having me there.
All right,
Have a good night.
have a good evening. Quiet.
Have a quiet.
Enjoy your supper.
All right. All those in favor? It's carried.
Everybody got his number?
911.
6270.
Yeah, 62-7.
All right. That the financial statements for the period ending March 31st, 2024 be approved as presented. Councilor Vic. All those in favor? That the financial reports for April 22nd, 2024 be received as presented. And with Maria being away, do you know too
Between
much
us, we
about it?
can answer questions.
Okay, do we have any questions? Everybody had a chance to take a look at the report? All right, well, seeing none,
Oh, I'm good.
you're good?
All good. That's my office.
All right, all those in favor? That the reports of senior administrative officials recorded as items 9.1 to 9.2.5 be received as filed. All those in favor? That the corporate services department monthly report be received and filed. Did anybody have any questions on this report at all? Pretty straightforward. All right, all those in favor? This is carried. That the community services department monthly report be received as filed and filed. Safer. So this one we will open up to Derek.
Thank you. I guess the only thing really to note would be the risk part, the RFP for the South Corridor and the Evergreen. We extended based on some information received from multiple engineering companies that were applying for the tender. I changed the dates to extend into possibly next year for completion. Many of them were quite worried about easements with CP Rail for the secondary one, so it will aim to, I kind of have an aim to start construction in October and then carry on through and completion in September of next year, just based on engineer advice, I guess would be the best way to put it.
Do we have any questions or comments? Sheldon?
Guess it'd be kind of a question and a comment. I'm just curious to why the manager of the community service department is looking after a wastewater management project and water project. Not the other manager of operations and engineering.
I just made the RFP, we all worked on it together, all three of us.
Yeah, I understand working on all three, but
He's working on it from the economic development perspective of it, that we need this done for economic development purposes. But Jamie is working on it from the water treatment perspective, and Jeff has been involved in the project as well.
yeah, I know it takes lots of hands in there. I'm just curious to why one manager of the department's not heading it up when it's actually this department, so.
They're working on it as a team, and
Yeah, I hear that.
it just started. Yeah.
I guess mostly just because of, yeah, it was in the economic development portion of the budget, so I kind of just took the lead on it.
I just asking the question. I know you presented it, but I thought that was because you all worked on it, but I thought somebody else would take it over that's actually Department of that. Thanks for the explanation.
And it will shift over to Public Works as the project goes on.
Do you have any other questions or comments on? Yeah,
Now that we're pushing this back, is there any kind of argument to push back some of the other things that we were, like the hotel study, I believe, for next year instead of this year? Just a thought, because there's no way we're gonna be ready this year.
Well, the whole hotel study has nothing to do, they're not related to infrastructure projects. It takes 1 year to complete it'll take 1 year to complete the building of the hotel, a year to 18 months. But if you wanna push it, you can.
We don't have a place for that.
Go ahead.
You-
This is a question out of the blue is with our sewer and water and infrastructure on the, I'll say the co-op side of the street, if a hotel was to go up there, do we have the capacity for it? Do we have the capacity to take on a hotel if it was to go on the other side of the street? Co-op, Tim Hortons side?
Some that we could go into the existing, what's there now. But not that whole subdivision that the plan there across not Grandfields, but, is it Grandfields that across the street?
It's across the street. No, I was just
Yeah,
concerned
across
about
the
that
highway.
particular side, that's all.
Sheldon?
Just seeing how there's, a delay in everything. You sent out an email with some new news from FCM. Does any of that qualify for any of that? Would it?
We don't know yet, we're hoping so.
It could.
They don't have any of the terms. None of the framework is ready yet. They haven't rolled any of that out yet. We'll maybe absolutely watch it. And it sounds like it will, infrastructure.
Yeah. It just falls under, so, yeah.
Mhm.
Do we have any other questions or comments? All right, all those in favor? Scary. That the Land Planning Department monthly report be received and filed. You will open it up to Jeff.
Thanks. Two things that I really want to point out. In discussions with the developer for townhouses in the Coventry Crescent area. So in speaking with Chelsea and Derek about the baseball diamonds, and I'm working on drafting layout options for lots and the baseball diamonds and how that could all fit in that area. So we'll probably see some draft designs just to show council different options in the May 1st standing committee meeting. Nothing concrete yet, but just different options to see. And then the appraisal on East Pleasant View Community Center was completed. So Chelsea and I will discuss that and likely, I guess, come up with plans for change house or discussions with the daycare. And then also, it's scheduled for the town to get appraised the lots on the north and south side of Pine Avenue. That way we'll have a estimated pricing for once those lots are serviced.
Excellent, thank you. Do we have any questions or comments for Jeff on this report? Sheila?
With the, people that are interested in the, suites in their yard, on their property, will their taxes go up?
They would, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, if they were to construct something like that, it would, yeah.
Any other questions or comments on this one? Okay, all those in favor? That the fire department monthly report be received and filed. Councilor Stewart. We'll pass this off to Paul.
Okay, so my apologies for not being here for the first meeting at the beginning of the month. Some stuff I had to do in Okotoks. Leave the sunny shores of Saskatchewan and get a foot of snow in Okotoks, and it seems I brought the weather back with me, so my apologies to you all. So no Okotoks trips until well into July or something. Fairly busy month. If you're going through it, I think probably one of the big highlights obviously would be the fire we had called number 30, the structure fire where we had the 2 dogs that we rescued. Unfortunately, I found out last week that one of the dogs did actually had to be put down. He did actually succumb to his injuries, which was sad, but the owner was still very, very thankful for everything that was done. So other than that, great visit we had at Little Achievers. I've got lots of comments on those pictures. Anytime I can shamelessly put pictures of kids in there, I certainly will do it. Great visit. And again, I think a good public forum education session at the Evergreen when it came to the fire pits. I'm still getting lots and lots of questions. It's too bad that we didn't have more people attend. In that vein, I still get probably 2 or 3 calls a day about fire pits. So again, it's just a lot of that education. So I know I'm speaking with Polly today and speaking with Derek, we're going to probably do another run of just some simple, this is what you can do, this is what you can't do. It's certainly not, again, I think everybody knows I'm a fire pit guy. I love fire pits. So I'm not trying to take them away, just making sure that they're safe. So. But other than that, the only other thing was thank you very much for council for agreeing that Zennon Park would be awarded the Jaws of Life. Chief Moen came today to pick them up, actually. He had a pretty big grin on his face, kind of like a little kid, probably much like one of the kids you see here. We did get some pictures as well, so we'll have those posted for the way. So, as much as some people like to say that I get too many pictures sometimes, I think you can't get enough good PR. Staring at this individual right now across the table, and he's not.
You're on a chair in this picture too.
I'm standing.
All right, do we have any questions or comments for Paul on this report? I do agree, Paul. Anytime you can do that outreach into the community with kids and stuff like that, it's a fantastic opportunity.
Yeah, it's been tough this year. We've been busy and there's been a lot of stuff on the go, so it was a nice getting to reconnect again. So I know LP Miller's reached out, so that's next on my agenda and certainly getting to that. And we do have a lot of requests now for fire hall tours, so we'll start bringing them in.
Awesome. All right, if there's no other questions or comments, all those in favor? This is carried. That the Protective Services Department monthly report be received and filed. For Cypher Lane. And we will go back to Paul.
So again, much like the previous month, we have unfortunately had a lot of calls in regards to dogs, either running at large or just barking at night, stuff like that. And as the weather warms up, obviously the dogs are being out a little bit more, being a little bit more instances. So again, a lot of education being provided by bylaw, by animal control, and hopefully it seems to be working on that note. One of the big ones that we had, it was a weekend, I can't remember, March 23rd, sorry, as I'm looking here. We did have a call for an individual that had dogs in his truck. It was very easily on our radar because it was parked right outside the office entrance parking lot. So there was a lot of education. I did field a lot of calls myself personally. I was working that weekend, talking with bylaw, talking to animal protection. We basically told this individual, hey, because it has happened more than once, we did tell him that plain and simple, it won't be tolerated any longer, that we will consider these animals to be under stress, and we will get the animals out, take care of it that way. So it seems to have worked. I have not seen him back. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments on this report? Sheila?
I'd just like to make note that it seems that your department is getting a lot more calls for safe supply disposal since the harm reduction program is no longer meeting this community, which is very unfortunate.
Thank you, Sheila. Any other questions or comments? All right, all those in favor? All right, let me just grab my storybook for the next one. This is the long one. It's going to take me a couple minutes to get through it.
It's fine,
Yeah. All right. Whereas numerous property owners in the town of Nipawin, the municipality, are in arrears of payment of their taxes. And whereas it has become a financially and labor-intensive task for the municipality to ensure taxes are being paid efficiently and promptly. And whereas the municipality expects collecting rental income from tenants of properties with tax arrears due and owing by the owner of such property will aid in the efficient and prompt collection of taxes. And whereas the municipality is empowered to collect rents from tenants of properties where the owner of such property has failed to pay their taxes when such have become due, pursuant to Section 321 of the Municipalities Act, SS 2005, C M36-.1, the Act. It is therefore resolved that, considering the many property owners are in arrears of their taxes, the municipality shall take the necessary measures as prescribed by the Act to collect rents from the tenants of those properties where the owner of such property has failed to pay their taxes when such have come due. Be it further resolved that notices pursuant to S 321 of the Act will be sent to the owners and/or tenants of the following properties in accordance with this resolution. Lot 15, Block 15, Plan 101-618-164. Lot 10, Block 1, Plan BV1944. Lot 2, Block 16, Plan BC1232. Lot 1, Block 4, Plan 86PA04787. Lot 16, Block 8, Plan CE740. Lot 1, Block 11, Plan CE740. Lot 8, Block 8, Plan CE740. Lot 6, Block 7, Plan CE740. Lots 15 to 16, Block 7, Plan CE740. Be it further resolved that notices to any property owner or owners with unpaid and overdue taxes whom the municipality intends to collect rent from, as listed above, will be provided through the notice to owner form found in Appendix A to this resolution. The notice to owner form will be served on said owners at least 14 days prior to the municipality notifying the tenants of the property that they are now required to pay their rent directly to the municipality. Be it further resolved that notices to the tenants shall be provided through the notice to tenant form, which may be found in Appendix B to this resolution, directing the tenants to pay rent directly to the municipality. The notice to tenant form will be served on said tenants at least 14 days after the municipality notifies the owners of the municipality's intent to collect rent directly from the tenants. Be it further resolved that in the event that the property owners has retained an agent to manage the collection of their rents on any properties with tax arrears due and owing, the agent will be made aware of the municipality's intention to seek rents through the notice to agent form, which may be found in Appendix C to this resolution, directing the agent to pay all rents collected directly to the municipality. Be it further resolved that in the event an owner voluntarily pays their property taxes prior to the issuance of the notice to tenant and or notice to agent, then the tenants and or agent will not be instructed to pay rents directly to the municipality.
One more time?
Can I get a mover on that? Thank you, Councillor Stewart. Michelle?
Well, there's this one method of collecting some of the tax arrears that said for quite a few years, typically when it is a rental property, it takes a long time to collect the rent or collect the taxes. And this will be able to take it off the shoulders of the other taxpayers of the town by collecting the rent directly from the tenants.
Yeah.
So I'm absolutely not in disagreement. I just have a couple of process questions. One is, when you're notifying the tenant, will the form just be mailed to them, or will there be someone to explain it to them? Because like recognizing a lot of the people that rent some of these homes, they just might need a different explanation than the language that's used
Right.
in these forms. And they may not pick up their mail.
That's right. And we have our bylaw enforcement officer quite often does hand deliver, and then we just do an affidavit of personal service as opposed to a registered mail receipt.
Okay. Yeah, I would just think that would probably be, we'd be more successful.
Yes.
If we do it that way.
Yes, I'm sure many of them would come back unclaimed if we didn't.
Right.
Yep.
So then, I just have two more questions. I don't know if anyone else has any. Another question is, so what if they don't pay their rent?
Then we still go through the tax enforcement process.
Okay.
To say that this in no way stops the tax enforcement process.
Okay.
We would just continue unless we were to take them to court, and
Right.
that would cost probably more than what we would end up collecting in rent. So we would most likely just continue the tax enforcement.
And I mean, just a comment, considering what people are paying in rent, it probably will be paid off faster than we think if we do get the rent collected. My last thing is, what about if the tenant changes before the taxes are paid off?
Then as long as they let us know, then we would send the registered letter or the personal delivery. We would send the notice to the new tenant to pay their rent to us.
Okay. That just might be a piece that the bylaw officer should let them know if they are moving, to let him know.
Yes. Mhm. And we also have the utility department when
Right.
we
Right.
coordinate
Yeah.
together, so we'd be able to keep.
Okay.
Yep.
I was just thinking on the other end.
Mhm.
That's all.
Absolutely.
Who's next?
The only concern I would have is, let's say it's -40 and the furnace breaks down. I'm paying rent to the town. Who's gonna come fix my furnace?
The town may, and it's in the Municipalities Act, the town may provide the heat and that. We're in no way the landlord. We're
But we're
just.
still liable for keeping
No,
the house
we're
heated.
not we can and take it out of the rent
Mm.
that they would be paying us, but we don't, it's not specified in the act that we're required to.
Mm.
Just that we may do.
But you would get the money back, like if that's something the town did.
Yes, it would be taken out of.
They'd add the cost to the taxes, then the people would
Yes.
just pay the town rent longer.
Yes, that's.
Okay.
Just a comment, I think it's really important that whoever delivers that information lets the people know that the owner of the property is aware that this is happening as well,
Mm,
Yes, absolutely.
mhm.
just so they understand the situation.
Yes, we will have a script,
Yes.
if you will, written
Right.
before we.
So they're not paying rent twice.
Mm,
Yeah.
I can't.
And just to allay your fears possibly, Sheila, is I would also accompany the bylaw officer as well, just to make sure that that message is getting across. Not to say that the bylaw officer couldn't do it, but I think sometimes it's very easy to forget one or two things. So yeah, it would certainly be a team effort that way.
Many people who rent sometimes feel vulnerable.
Mhm.
So I think it's important that they get as much information as possible,
Absolutely.
so that there's no misunderstandings or they're not told something different from somebody else.
That's right.
They
And
will be.
sometimes I myself have trouble reading some of the
Mhm. Yep.
legislation, let alone,
Yep.
first, absolutely.
Thank you.
Say they pay the town of Nipmuc rent and they don't pay their landlord rent, how do we prevent the landlords from evicting?
We can't prevent that.
Sorry, if I can just make it, I would, there should be protections in the rentals, from the rentalsman, but there'll be some work for probably our bylaw officer to make sure that they're aware of those protections and to maybe even help guide them to that service if that occurs. Because it will, like, it will, yeah,
And we'll
they
get
will get evicted, I'm positive.
It's
But
unfortunate.
they will have those protections too, so,
Yeah.
like, I don't think this is wrong, but, yeah, anyway.
And we'll take copies of the
Mhm.
rentalsman.
Sheldon?
But whoever the new tenant is, still have to, still be paying down rent anyways.
You have another question there, Jeff?
Oh, is there any way to involve the RCMP in this too?
Right.
Because that's gonna happen, right? You're gonna get evicted, right? And this could be bullied out of a property, there's a lot of those things that could happen. On the streets?
Yeah, just to add to that, maybe the other thing it would be just to flag the landlord's names for the Office of Residential Tenancies so that
Yeah.
they know that when people are calling that it is accurate information. I don't know if that's possible or not, but
And the landlords are gonna know 2 weeks in advance that we're doing this.
Yeah, that's right, there are people.
it's not the wrong, I believe it's not the wrong thing to do. It's just around how do we keep the people in the houses protected while we do it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We will give them as much information as we possibly can.
Phone number or someone to call.
Yeah. Do we have any other questions or comments on this then? Right, all those in favor? All right, that council not award the tender for demolition work at 139 Kingsway Drive at this time. And that administration be directed to further investigate asbestos presence and mitigation procedures and provide recommendation to council. Councillor Seiferling. Michelle.
I'll just start by saying that asbestos remediation and the cost of such was quite a hot topic at SUMA this year. And as such, I asked that we not award the tenders right now because most buildings built before 1990, you can assume there's asbestos present, and we need to do our due diligence. And then I can let Paul speak to it a little more.
Okay.
So yes, I have spoken with a local cleanup company who said he can do some of this testing first of all, and he would mitigate the problem if it is there. So if it is, for instance, in the flooring or the ceiling tiles or whatever, they go in and test these items, see that they're asbestos related, they can remediate that, get it to a point where it's okay, it's good to be demoed, and then the demo could proceed after that, saying that it has a clean bill of health. We did order some asbestos kits as well, so we'll probably try that out, just to see how those ones work as well. It's unfortunate because I know we've talked about it since my arrival here. That was kind of the goal, was to do 3 properties a year. I think everyone kind of balked when they saw what I put in for a budgetary amount this year, because I kind of anticipated this could be coming down the pipeline. And as such, it obviously has reared its ugly head. So it's unfortunate, but I think it's probably what we're gonna have to do, just make sure we seal these buildings up really well. Possibly at some point, after speaking with Michelle and hearing some of the chatter from SUMA, hopefully there'll be something available from the government to take care of these buildings. When we talk about housing people and they're needing to be housing, we have all these houses that we can't do anything with. You would hope that the government would help us get rid of these so that we can put other houses up, right? I'm all for that. Let's do that. Let's make tiny houses, like make, these kinds of things, but let's get rid of the ones that we can't use. So hopefully that'll be something in the government, and maybe that's something we pitch at the FCM grant, possibly.
Okay. Do we have any questions? We'll start with Stacy.
Sheldon had his hand up.
Go ahead.
So in this particular case, you didn't want to go into the house for fear of it collapsing. So.
Well, I was okay.
We're
The
gonna.
engineers didn't want to,
Okay.
100%, yeah.
Are we gonna send someone else in there then?
Well, if they're willing to go, I think that's up to them. I've been through that place many times. It was the engineers that were like,
Okay.
yeah, we're not going in there. I don't have much fear.
Sheldon?
So I got a couple, I guess, question statements. So what are other communities doing? And I'll let you answer in 1 second. And what are we doing with somebody that ripping down or asks for a demolition permit? Are we requiring they do the same? And if we're not, why aren't we then? And I just think this might be just a little bit too much on a residential service, on a residential building. Commercial, I can see there's lots of asbestos that may be evident in the air, but if that's the way we're going, then I think we have to apply it everywhere.
Other municipalities that we heard speaking at SUMA are boarding up these houses because they can't afford to. They can't afford to do the demolitions. And we have talked about it, adding it to our demolition permit. And that, hence the section that administration do further investigation and come provide a recommendation to council.
When you say they can't afford demolition, maybe they can't afford the demolition, but is it the testing that they can't afford, or is it the hiring of somebody to fill it in? Because demolition is pretty broad.
They were at SUMA mentioning that, asking the government when and if they were going to provide assistance for demoing these buildings that contain asbestos.
Well, yeah, I this idea, all of a sudden, it reminds me of the gas tank thing. We have to get every bit of the gas tanks decommissioned, not in this town, and all over the place, and all of a sudden, it's died right off. I guess my argument right now is, yeah, well, you can board them up if you can't afford to do them. The other thing is what's friable and what isn't friable. We've already got a hot dump. There's no doubt about it. Like, that's what it is. So I wonder about, you get your 6x9 tiles. They're not very friable. They're not posing a real risk to anyone, actually. They're maculate, yeah. Again, this is, I guess what I'm mad about is this is a real money-making thing. $330,000 at Pixie, ridiculous to get that remediated. It went from 10,000 to 330. Someone's making some money.
Yeah.
And that's what it's going for. It isn't all about safety anymore. So.
Sheldon?
And then I guess this is kind of twofold. We haven't been really testing anything, or we've been taking everything into our landfill. what are we doing for our employees working there? Are they, they're being exposed maybe to some of this and everything else?
We're not, our permit to operate doesn't allow us to accept it. The employees,
If you don't test it, you don't know, right?
that's right.
So we have a communication chain with the EPO. They're more or less telling us if we want to start taking, asbestos, that we have to change our operations plan, send it in for it to be approved, and then there's certain steps. But just like you said, now when you start taking asbestos, do you need positive caps, right, in all of your equipment where no dust can get in? Like, there's a big expense to this, and so where do you stop?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. We didn't do a test on Maple, did we? Or that good stuff? No.
There's a few other houses that are.
And that's what we're
down there.
past 1990 or whatever too, so.
That's the thing maybe we should look at is we get the house tested before we demolish it. They take out, what is asbestos, that's a small amount, that gets shipped to a place like Prince Albert, which wouldn't cost much, and then we can tear it down and put it in our land.
Jeff?
We have a structurally unsound property, how could you even get in there and take it out?
Right.
So it really comes down to it.
There's one.
Someone's gonna be crawling on the roof there to get the vermiculite out of that. It's impossible.
Right.
So this thing's gotta come down or it's gonna fall down. So,
Well, there's one right now,
you know,
so
this is too far.
I quite agree.
Defeat the motion and, bring it back with the tenders next council meeting.
I'd be in favor of that.
You can get in here. We don't even know whether it has asbestos on it. Of course it has asbestos on it. Everything. These houses of that age has asbestos in it. The drywall does, the tiles do, the vermiculite does. It's in literally everything. So that's there. There's some things that are more dangerous than others, stuff around the pipes, for example, a lot more. Where are we gonna draw a line, right? Because they're also literally sometimes anybody wants to do any work into their house, demolition system. They can get a demolition receipt, asbestos remediation. Just a matter of people not getting demolition.
Well, that's.
Oh,
No, go ahead.
sorry.
I'm just-
And that's kind of what, Michelle, would you agree? They didn't really say, the EPO didn't really say anything. If you feel, it was never like you must. Like, that's how I felt.
It's just that it is not in our permit.
No, it's not an
That's all. And being such a hot topic at SUMA.
Yes. That's where this all come up.
I'd be concerned about some long-term legalities of not doing this way right now, just with the way things are moving forward, unfortunately.
I'd be concerned about leaving it the way it is. Right?
Yeah.
Someone playing in there, falling into it, there's no way we're gonna get any engineer in their right mind to go into that building and work. I wouldn't go in.
Which means the other option would be paying a higher fee to have the whole building all the way to a approved facility.
Oh my God.
Oh, geez.
Uh,
Now you're looking
Yeah,
at
no, we
6
don't.
figures.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
At a
Yeah, I know.
$20,000 job, you're looking at least 6 figures. I hope, I don't know if asbestos is the same thing, but go ahead.
It's not qualified.
Sheldon?
I'm not sure who did the abatement for the Fair River School, but that sure moved along, and I'm sure they have way more asbestos in that place than what is in that little 600 square foot house or 800 square foot house capped off, but yeah.
But we have that, for the Caribou School, we have that whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, I'm just saying, that was a big building, and for some reason,
Yeah.
that got tore down like nothing, and I've been through there, I didn't see anybody wetting anything down, the school's right there, and
We have a report that
Yeah,
they.
Yeah, they did it.
So where was that hauled? come here? Cause I've seen the trucks go
Yeah,
through.
it did come.
So, there's a risk if the house stays standing and there's a risk to take it down, so there's really no great answer. There is somebody that can test in town, from what I understand, from what I'm understanding from you,
I
Paul.
believe he lived in town, yes.
Is, like, is it possible we're overthinking this and there might be a bit and it gets dealt with and then the house comes down? Like, could we pause it for 2 weeks, give the opportunity to figure out how big of a problem it actually is? And then we might be back with the RFPs by next meeting.
Absolutely, we could very well.
I think that would be a good idea.
I just want to ask a question. So the house that burned, not recently, but in the wintertime when it was so cold, there's strong chances there was asbestos in there.
I would have no doubt in my mind there probably is. I have a different view of that one. That one has burnt down to the ground. I would have a really hard time listening to anybody from environment or from any to try and tell us that we can't haul this. That would be, and I mean, if they want us to test it while it's all laying there, I don't know that I'm sending anyone on that to go and do anything.
Right.
No, but I guess
Yeah, and I
it
agree.
gets hauled away.
And again, this, it's such a tough issue. I'm trying to be politically correct and follow what I'm being told by environment, but as often happens with environment, they get very heavy-handed. They're trying to do what they believe to be the right thing, and they're making life incredibly difficult and not realistic. So we should not be able to, this should be an easy choice. You knock an old building down because it's a hazard, because it's an eyesore, because it's all of these things that we've made. But by adding this one layer, you've just now made it so expensive. Well, now what are you supposed to do? Right? So this was the interim, was just pause the RFPs, make it so people can't get in. Hopefully they don't vandalize it. Hopefully they don't get in, start squatting. Hopefully they don't burn it down. Hope, right? 20 years ago, it was very easy. These were fire practice houses. You know, bingo, bango, done.
Fire practice houses wouldn't be safe. Asbestos, the nature of it is it doesn't burn very well at all. That's why they put it around pipes and everything. So, yeah.
I think the other thing to add for me is just until we understand the problem, we don't know if staff is at risk.
Yeah.
And I think that for me, that's a big deal.
Well done.
So can we come back to that resolution then? Because I think the resolution speaks to what Councilor Miller was talking about, and we can move forward.
Okay, so do you want me to kind of go through the resolution one more time, just to refresh? Okay, that council not award the tender for demolition work at 139 Kingsway Drive at this time, and that administration be directed to further investigate asbestos presence and mitigation procedures and provide a recommendation to council. Okay, so I've got Sheila on that already.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could say that we table the tender award
They'd like to table us.
rather
Yeah.
than not award. We could say that we
So
table it to the,
We can change that to table.
we could,
That council,
if council chooses to,
how does everybody feel about that? Sheila?
I agree.
to the next.
Okay.
To the next council meeting.
All right, so with that change, all those in favor? It's carried. Okay, that council authorized the purchase of the replacement skid steer motor from Finning International in the amount of $17,876.18 plus GST, and that the funding come from the Parks Capital Budget 461-740-820, and that council waive the applicable provisions of the procurement policy in regard to getting 3 quotes for the purchase. And Chelsea, do you want to speak to that?
Sure, I can, thank you. We have received quotes for the replacement motor for the skid steer. We were only able to find 2 companies that were able to quote the skid steer motor replacement and are recommending Finning International. In the end, it actually does come in cheaper as the Conequip one is from the States. Once you convert the dollar plus the duty and shipping, and you're over that price that was quoted by Finning International. So this is the motor that will be replaced. It's the same motor that's currently in there, and our mechanic should be able to replace it, no problem.
Do we have any questions or comments? Sheldon?
So this is just for the motor, our mechanic will install it?
Correct. Yes.
And second part to my question is, do we get any core on the other motor that was not in here?
We have to send that motor back. So I think this quote is based on them receiving the motor back.
I didn't see it on the quote.
Sorry, no, yeah. Yes, we do have to send it back, but they said we could keep it for a bit until we know that we have all the parts we need when we replace it, so.
Do we have any other questions or comments on this? All right. All those in favor? That council authorize the purchase of the Centennial Jubilee Ice Sprayer from White Ice in the amount of $15,500 plus GST, and that the funding come from the Arena Capital Budget 461-720-823, and that council waive the applicable provisions of the procurement policy in regard to getting 3 quotes for the purchase. Councillor Stewart.
Okay, thank you very much. So this is for the paint sprayer that paints the ice at all the Centennial, Jubilee, and the curling rink. We were looking for a specific paint sprayer this go around. Our other one was decades upon decades old. This one will make it a lot easier to paint the ice. We won't, with the last one, we needed actually all the staff while we were painting ice. This one, we should only need 1 or 2. So it will make our staffing a lot easier and just more efficient. And I will talk louder, sorry. So we are recommending White Ice. They just came in less than Omnisport, so that's really the only reason. They're the exact same sprayer.
Okay. Do we have some questions or comments? Sheldon?
So I got 1 question, 2 questions, and a
Sure.
comment. So, the old sprayer, are we gonna sell it? Are we keeping it around for a spare?
It is not usable anymore. It essentially blew up this year. So, and it was just on a trailer. Derek could explain it better than I can, but
It blew a crankshaft and it was a sprayer for spraying trees. It converted to, you plugged in an ice thing. It was a homemade jobber and it threw a crank.
and it was really, really old.
So I didn't see a picture of the other one, the one that we're getting, but the other one looked like you could probably paint lines in town with and use it. Do it. It has a little seat and everything. 100-gallon tank, that's a lot of paint.
Yes, it is. Yes.
That was just a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any other questions or comments on this one? All right, all those in favor? That council approve the brand guide to formalize, structure, and implement a brand guide that aligns with the brand identity and helps reinforce the brand message across all channels. So this would be Derek.
So I guess it's pretty straightforward. It's just a guidance to keep consistency within the communication processes and enhance the overall brand.
Thank you, Derek. Were there any questions or comments on this one? Sheldon?
Just maybe a question. how much, I guess swag do we have available to the public to sell right now?
Yeah, there's some hoodies, some cups, some hats, and then some just knickknacks and stickers and stuff that are still left over from last year. Not a pile, but we'll get more once the summer goes. There's some winter towels that didn't really go because Skidoo didn't go. We got towels made with the maps on the back, so that like visor towels. But with a minimal amount of skidooing, we didn't have many of.
Those will work good as fish towels in the boats.
I was just curious, cause summer's coming and we have,
There's some, and we're planning on ordering more here before long.
gotta get gifts for the relatives.
Sheila?
Hoodies don't work well with my shirt. Are there going to be t-shirts as well?
Yeah, t-shirts. I guess if it's just the same t-shirts as we have right now with the same logos, yeah, we can definitely, that's in the works.
Perfect. And a V-neck, please.
I don't like to go with the visor, maybe.
Shorts, sweats.
Leg warmers.
I'll keep it in mind.
Thank you. I'll pay extra, actually. Sorry.
Do you have any other questions or comments? All right, all those in favor? Carried. All right, that the reports of committees and boards reported as item 11.1 be received and filed. Okay. Any questions or comments on this? All those in favor? Carried. That the communications recorded as item 12.1 be received and filed. Any questions or comments on this correspondence? All those in favor? All right, moving down to the round table. Jeff?
Lots of Twin Lakes stuff. You guys probably seen my ugly mug on my Facebook. Including a very happy Jeffrey at the Kinsman events, right? Smile like this big, my eyes blind me in dental floss. It was good. Good on the Kinsman for 10,000 and $1 donation.
And one, was there a reason for that?
It's just a Kinsman thing.
Oh, okay.
Always.
Okay.
It goes back to the skate park where they wanted to be 20,001. I like it.
I remember it clearly.
I remember I was there. I also stood for the Melody Motors one and a few other pictures, and then I sat there during their beside you. Yeah, during their events and trying to get people to donate and educate people. So yeah. There you go.
Perfect. Sheila?
I attended a class at the U of R on April 13th for communication for municipalities. I was at the sewer convention. I toured the solar panel system the day before at Lumsden. Met with ministers of health and social services to talk to them in their offices. And what else did I want to say? I also sat Saturday. Yeah, from 2 to 6 and received close to $1,000.
Really?
For the heliport.
Since there's more.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Sheldon?
I too attended SUMA. I went for a tour of Lumsden solar infrastructure and I found it quite interesting. I like that kind of stuff. I sat with the CAO and the mayor. We met with the highways minister and we spoke about the old bridge, Highway 55 and some other good things. I imagine you guys will enlighten the rest of us on what you guys got. And I sat in on dialogue with the Minister of Environment and spoke in regards to no consultation with their irrigation project with the South Saskatchewan River. Kind of affects us downstream here. And also spoke about the lack of solar incentives in this province also. And that's about it.
Thank you, Sheldon. Bruce?
Me, not much, just Wallace presentation there. That was good.
Thank you, Bruce. Jen?
Yeah, I took part in the Wallace and Associates present or economic development or whatever it's called. Economic development meeting. For part of it anyway, I had to leave a little bit early. I also took part in SUMA convention. Paul, we learned who would survive a fire. And there's only 2 out of 6 of us that followed fire protocol when a fire alarm went off at 4
I
a.m.
was tired.
And I may have even been offered a bribe to not tell you that, but
Yeah, I kind of was given a heads up, and I cried just a little bit inside, so there will be a class next council meeting.
we did it at 4 a.m.
Really?
and only 2 of us
Glad I got to
showed up
stay
in the lobby.
Glad I got to stay in the non-ritzy hotel.
Anyway,
It wasn't
Yeah.
loud enough.
it wasn't loud enough. It was deafening. Anyway, no, SUMA convention was good. I listened to the Minister of Government Relations and along with Michelle, so yep, all was good.
Thank you, Jen.
Boy, mine's gonna be short and sweet, there were no meetings.
And no fire alarms.
No fire alarms, no. I would have made it out, Paul.
See?
I walked down the stairs.
So did I.
That was the problem, I got stuck in the elevator.
All right, myself, April 9th, I attended the economic development strategy with Wallace. It was pretty insightful to see some potential for the community in the next few years. And then, April 14th to 17th was SUMA, my first one. It was pretty busy. I attended the Community and Economic Development Seminar, Restoring Harmony in Municipal Roles and Conflict Resolution, Revamping Your Approach to Municipal Residential Relationships, and then Dialogue with the Ministers. I was at the Justice, Corrections, Policing, and Public Safety and RCMP. I also had a meeting with the National Police Federation regarding the RCMP outlook for the future, which actually mirrored exactly what Staff Sergeant Fosnikoff said about, enrollment is higher, the idea that they'll allow the cadets to look at choosing their first posting. So hopefully that will help us out. Minister of Highways as well. I was in attendance there. And then I sat in with the Minister of Mental Health and Addictions and the Minister of Social Services with Sheila. And I must say, Sheila did a fantastic job representing the community there. Thank you, Sheila. And that's what I was up to. So, it's a busy week. Glad to be back. All right, we'll move down to the public forum. Any comments today? Thank you so much for coming. All right. That the regular council meeting of April 22nd, 2024 be closed with Mayor Zacharias in the chair pursuant to section 122A of the Municipalities Act and citing exemptions contained in the Local Authority Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act under section 16, advice from officials at 8:14 p.m.